This is Gary Guyman with the Dominate the Day podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to help you get 1% better in your business, provide clarity, and give you some ideas that will help you grow your business. If you're ready to dominate the day, let's go.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't want to dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you want to dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's actually the day before the New Year. December 31st. Man, I don't know about you. As I get older, I reflect a lot more. I reflect a shit ton more than I used to. My 20s and 30s, I didn't really reflect too much. 40s, I started to reflecting. In the last 3 or 4 years, I've reflected a lot. One of the things that I've reflected the most about is legacy. And legacy to me is multiple touches. 1, financial. 2, family. And then 3, this bigger than you thing. Legacy to me is part of the fabric of your character, of your integrity. You know, in 50 years, like if this podcast still exists, nobody's going to be able to talk to me because I'm probably going to be dead. What have I sowed? What did that sowing reap? And what are the people that trusted me to provide for them? How did they accomplish this? If you look over the history of America, you got the families like the Vanderbilts, railroad titan that he was. You got the family, the Rockefellers that were banking and real estate magnates. Like, what was it that made them turn into this legacy type family? Recently, you think about the Bush family or political magnates, the Kennedy family, political, Trump, the Trump family, which primarily is real estate, but now also some politics. Like, what put them in that sphere of that family having that legacy? Started with someone having that conversation, not just setting resolutions for next year, but setting goals for your legacy. You see, setting a goal for next year is great, and I mean, one of the biggest accomplishments for goals was my wife this past year. She set a goal in November of 2020. I'm losing fucking weight. She didn't weigh that much, but I'm losing fucking weight. She went from 147. I think she's down to like 115. What'd she do? She changed her mindset. She focused on it, and she went after it. Well, think about if you did that from a lifestyle perspective or from a life perspective. I'm going to change the end result. I grew up poor, shit in an outhouse until I was like 8, didn't have running water. We had, from the time I was 8 to the time I was 16, we lived in a three-room house, 1 bathroom. I could go on and on and on. My dad didn't work for like 5 years, from the time I was 6th grade to the 11th grade. Like we had no money. Our monthly rent was like $70 a month. We ate government cheese, like sucked big time. So I was like 14 years old. I started working to make money so that I could have things. And, you know, there were times during those years that I made more money than my parents did on a monthly basis because I wanted to change the legacy. I wanted to change the mindset. I wanted to change shit. And I took chances early on in life, in my 20s. And some of those chances played out well. Some of them didn't. But if you're not putting yourself in the game, you're not going to be able to change the legacy. I have to believe that all of those families that I've named, the legacies that have occurred, is because chances were taken. At some point, someplace, chances were taken. Look, it wasn't Donald Trump that created the Trump family. It was Fred Trump or his dad who created the family, or his grandpa. Same thing with George Bush. It wasn't George Bush or George Bush Sr. It was the grandpa or the great-grandpa, Cornelius Vanderbilt. Like, it was his father. The list goes on and on and on, but it had to start somewhere. So are you starting with you? Are you changing your legacy? Make your resolution for 2022 be, I'm going to change the narrative of my legacy. And here's the things I'm changing. Because, folks, resolutions are great, but changing the pursuit, changing the end goal, changing your legacy, that'll definitely dominate the day.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't wanna dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you wanna dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.